how you're managing the entire supply chain. Then again, once it goes to the consumer, to the customer, be it retail, be it the wet markets, be it has to be still transported into a reefer containers or a reefer vehicle. So the entire supply chain should be with unbroken temperature link. I'll come to the point, which is what are the challenges. So how do we get this right? And what are the issues which we are currently facing? So one of the bigger issues is consolidation at the farm level. So the consolidation at the farm level, most of the farmers, there are no standard protocols which they are following. So in terms of apples, because I come from fresh produce and apples my biggest product, so in terms of apples, the farmer will directly pick and will pack in any packaging he wants. It doesn't work like that. I mean, you need to consolidate everything and you need to sort everything so that there is a standard product which is going into the box and the consumer has some kind of confidence over that product. But this is not a farmer-driven problem. It is a problem on scalability, because we have such small farms that scalability never comes. But then there is a concept called cooperatives. So we need to probably have more cooperatives or larger size corporations or government organizations to go there and work with the farmers and to get these protocols and systems in place. So an example like in US, for example, I mean, so we have protocols given on the grades. So the entire industry has to pack in those protocols. They cannot pack, so they've got something like an extra fancy 1 and an extra fancy 2 and a premium. A premium is a premium, and that's how they will pack. Here, I mean, it's up to the farmer howsoever he wants to pack, in whatsoever form he wants to pack, he can pack. Again, the non-standard packing, no defined protocols, uneven distribution of cold storages. We have already discussed enough about it. There are potato cold storages, and I mean, there are some cold storages with pallets, without pallets, no forklift operations, a lot of handling, so all these challenges. There's lack of uniform technology in place. There's no economics of scale, no capital investments which are happening in this space. I mean, especially the back-end side of it. And then the human capital and lack of, I'm going to be explaining them in pictures because I don't want to take too much of time because we've got the next panelist session coming up as well. So what is the challenge? What is the solution? So this is the traditional sorting and grading and how it happens currently in most cases. And we just need to invest in more modern sorting and grading, and that's how it should happen. I mean, if you see in the picture. This is traditional handling. So this is how it happens. A guy taking a big sack on his shoulder and walking 3 or 4 floors. And this is how it should happen. There should be a forklift, and something which is being done by 10 people is being done by 1 guy, and just less handling, less bruising into the product. These are traditional packaging, so they just pack anything, in whatsoever form they want to pack. There is no criteria on what corrugation you're going to pack, what is the BS of the paper, how. So all of that is not there, but we need to make sure that that product's going to carry a 1,000 rupee product inside it, so it has to be strong. So you need to have a strong paper, you need to have good quality corrugated packaging. So these are the cold rooms, So, I mean, this is how it is being kept. I mean, there's no synchronization at all, and it needs to be palletized and least handled. It still happens this way, Large part of the market still gets driven in trucks like that, wherein there's no specification of how much you load, You can load in a 14-footer truck, you can load 20 tons, So in a 14-ton truck. But that is how it needs to be done. It needs to be cold chain, and it needs to be only that much payload capacity or what is allowed. This is the traditional packing, and this is the modern packing where the current trend is shifting. And in most modern cities, it has already shifted with the modern retail coming into the place. So again, street selling, vendor selling. I mean, street selling still happens that way, but there are multiple ways in which street vendors can also improve, wherein if they package in a better way, they can still reduce their overall wastage. You can avoid reality, but you cannot avoid the consequence of reality. So many people do think that, okay, this is a cost, but that cost will eventually help you in long term to save your losses, So it's purely a decision of an individual, an entrepreneur, a company, to decide and then, to see whether this cost today or that loss tomorrow. Great, thank you.
Thank you, Tarun. Hitinji, would you like to share your point of view since you had few points to, yeah, so. Here also you
Good afternoon, everyone. Tarun has broadly covered all the points of our distribution system. But somehow, since morning I've been listening, everybody is discussing about the points of the macro level. And eventually, when you, in real terms, when we talk about the cold chain, it is about the value addition. Value addition not only by temperature. Actually, in this platform, since morning, I've been listening to many people, and they are from the industry, and they all are talking about the temperature. The temperature is the main core of the value chain. Significantly, it's a very critical part. But due to my own personal experience of our Suri Agro, we understand beyond temperature there are many more barriers. The barriers like, for example, when we export the grapes from India, eventually we were the first, this year our was our first year to export the grapes to Europe. And the way we have tried to bring the grapes to the global platform, it was appreciated in every country. What we have done nothing. Temperature was controlled by everyone. All the big exporters have been controlling the temperature. We have made some innovative ideas of controlling the ethylene. That is one of the major aspect when people do mainly overlook all these kind of aspects in the supply chain. Especially like when I talk about grapes, we have to control the ppm level of the ethylene. Whereas when I talk about the bananas, it's opposite. I have to increase the ethylene. So in the both the cases, the fruits you are handling for exports or for domestic market, the ultimately it's a combination of various factors which we normally overlook them. Secondly, when we talk about the last mile delivery and we talk about the retail operations and when we talk about the many other factors, I want to bring to your notice that Suri Agro is today is one of the key examples where we are actually giving a entire cold chain from farm to fork. When I say farm to fork means we consolidate at the farm level, we put it produce into the different kind of cooling systems to bring the farm heat level to the required levels, like hydro cooling for apples, for cherries, which eventually gives the our brand to a next level, and ultimately to the farm level to the consumer, where we are creating a modified atmosphere packaging. Now, these are the very small factors which actually gives a lot of value to the produce when it comes to the consumer. Because the consumer today do not bother how you have brought the freshness to him. When I came to this business 30 years back, I was introduced that I am a fresh fruit, I belong to a fresh fruit business. But one day during discussion in our boardroom, we thought that where is the freshness? We talk about only the fruit business. Now, carrying the freshness is a key aspect of our business. That how actually the freshness should be delivered. Temperature is one of the major role players, but there are many other factors. For example, I'm talking about kernels, aerials, like pomegranate aerials. When I pack pomegranate aerials, it effectively has to be done into a different kind of packing, whereas I have to pack the another other cut fruits, because the biological changes are different. So these are very minute aspects of the business which actually give a value addition to a produce and satisfaction to the customer because he gets the right taste. And to maintain that right taste, we need a cold chain. So that cold chain is a definitely a very critical part. But other than having a true manner of the agri cold chain, it has to be done in a very objective manner, and with a very kind of you need lot of R&D on this subject. Lot of companies, very big business houses like carriers, like many other business houses who are making these equipments. But still we are missing into a make in India. Make in India is a very critical part. For example, when I talk about the shelf space, if I want a small shelf from carrier, of say 4 feet, 4 feet in the width, it is costing me 1,75,000 rupees. So entire business model of the shopkeeper get exploited at that moment when he has to spend 1,75,000 rupees for that shelf, and that is merely of 4 feet. If he go for a 6 feet or 8 feet, it may cost him maybe 3 to 4 or 5 lakhs rupees. So this is something has to be very important that we should talk about on this aspect of the business, that it should be make in India. Another point which I like to bring to the notice to the industry and to my fellow members, that today lot of different kind of modified atmosphere packaging equipments which are totally not available in India. We are doing some R&Ds in-house. The equipment is very, very expensive. Sometimes it's so expensive that it takes a lot of capital cost and doesn't deliver anything. So these are the other key aspect which I like to bring to the notice, that we should talk about the value addition in the entire chain. That is a key part of our business. Over and above, I like to bring to one more thing to your notice, because I was making some points while people were discussing that there's a lot of government support which is been coming, and eventually I'm thankful to the government because they have always initiated our projects on priority and given us the chance to deliver. So many of the people are entering into this business just because of the government grants, just because of the subsidies. But ultimately, the viability of the project has to be done by the entrepreneur. So this is my kind of suggestion to the industry people, that they should enter into this business understanding the viability, because without understanding the viability, the entire capital of a person who is investing the money and the people who are not in the industry are basically making those units non-workable, which is not good for our economy. Other thing I like to bring, that e-commerce, like what we talk about, is only been seen in the big cities. It has not been part of the business because of the metro, other than metro cities like tier 1, beyond tier 1 cities, if you go to tier 2 or tier 3, it is totally because of the logistic reasons. And many suggestions have been came, and many kind of observations has been made since morning. So definitely, but there's a one kind of business model which I like to share with you, is the post-box business, which has recently been innovated in China. For example, there's a refrigerator with 16 lockers. It has been in the society, and the person who orders the his kind of F&B, what he required, is been put in the locker. The delivery boy will come and give it the locker number on the SMS, and that entire fruit and vegetable are being put in that refrigerated locker. And when the person come in the evening, or the family member come in the evening, he has got his code on the mobile the moment he made the payment. He just have to put that code and that door opens. So it will change entire business model of the e-commerce because of that particular kind of business. So these are the small innovations which actually can change the business model of especially of our fruit and vegetable. And hopefully in next couple of years or next 5 years, you will see huge change that how this business is being run. Thank you.
Thank you, Hitinji. Mr. Bhupender, if you have any points to add.
Good afternoon, everybody. That is, since in the morning we are talking about the challenges, we are talking about the infrastructure, we are talking about the facilities, the government initiatives and all that. Governments is putting so much efforts to develop the cold chain, but that is real challenge is to be at the farm level. Peoples are putting cold storages in the near to big cities. Where is the infrastructure at the farm level? Peoples are generating profits only from the government scheme, but nothing has been generated near the farm level. Once till that not happen, that is nothing is to be changed. Nothing is to be revolutionized in India. That is, if we for my company, that is, we had add 140 trucks in 2 years, and there is more scope is available. That can be thousands in 2 years. If that